Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Grade A Fantasy, and I'm here with a wow, it's crazy. Just saying it more and more. It feels like the home stretch. When it's the home stretch, it's like the final 3 or 4 games, where right now, like the playoff races are kind of being set up, and then you kind of know where everybody is because things can change off injury. But hey, Week 12 preview on FanDuel. Last week was definitely a fun slate. I really wanted to get to different opportunities to get to other people, so I pretty much ended up playing the $3. That's the contest that I'll probably play for the rest of the year until FanDuel puts that at least 20 max. That I think that's the NFL snap back to 25. So I'll be in the $3, which is 20K the first, 10,000 the second, so on and so forth. With prize pool basically pays out, I think, 20 a quarter of the field, so 25%. Because it's almost 80,000, and they stop paying out at 20,000 place or whatever. So that's basically 25% of the field, basically. Yeah, that's where I'm going with pretty much for the rest of the year. Like, this is another fun slate, and there's a lot of places that I want to get to, a lot of people I want to get to, combos I want to get to. So let's get right into it. Talk about these QBs for Week 12. So Jalen Hurts obviously in a great position. He looked great in that first game. It's funny because, once again, if you're one of those basic people, and there are people that's out there, whatever, without looking at stats, that is not the game. That is not the game to really, the first game of the season, don't go back and look at those stats. That game got thrown out of whack. That thunderstorm that delayed the game for about an hour and change kind of threw everything out. That game was on pace. It was on pace. It just didn't play out that way. That thunderstorm had everybody cold, re-stretch, re-work out, and all this other stuff, and kind of like, went for a dud. That game, I think that game was projected to be, that game looked like it was going to have a 60 total. I think the over-under was in that low 50 area, like 51, 52 and a half possibly. But Jalen Hurts is in a great spot. So is the rest of the crew, but Jalen Hurts for pay-up, I definitely like pay-ups there. Lamar is a funny pay-up to me. I like him. He's not a fade. I might be under the field on him, depending on what his ownership is, because that Jet game looks like Lamar might do a couple of basic things. He might. And see, I think that hamstring injury does have something to do with him not running lately. I really do think so. But Lamar, I don't know. His ceiling is just not high for me anyway. I'm definitely gonna get to more Henry. I might get to the his other perfumes like Andrews, whatever the case may be. But this definitely looks like a Henry spot. I think he'll have a fine game, but I just don't think this is gonna be Lamar 10 or 11 rushes for 75 and a touchdown or two, and then he throws a touchdown or two where he's responsible for 4. It just doesn't seem like it could happen. Yes, it's still they're at home, and it's a great spot against the Jets. But I definitely like other Ravens, and obviously Ravens defense against more than I like Lamar. Drake May is definitely going to be popular against Cincinnati on the road. I mean, basically, I think right now some sportsbook have him as the favorite, or he's a co-favorite with Allen or so on and so forth. So Drake May in a great spot, playing great at Cincinnati. Patrick Mahomes is definitely somebody who I like. Indianapolis is a decent defense, not a great defense. I think this is a KC team that this is one of those where, forget fantasy, their situation is going to make them a good fantasy team because they absolutely need this victory. So I think Mahomes is definitely going to be. This is going to be Mahomes early in the year with the rushing ability. Might be able to run one in. He'll have a few rushes, and he'll have the peripherals of 40 to 60 yards rushing. He has the ability to get the 2 to 3 touchdowns this week. He's not the most expensive. He's at a nice price at $81,000. So Patrick Mahomes, very viable, and at home. I love the spot for him. Definitely love the spot for him. It's a good team that they're going against, but it's not the most impregnable, stalwart of a defense. No. They could create some pressure, could flush Mahomes out the pocket. I think that boost. I think he, without that, has a higher ceiling than Lamar. Obviously, definitely should be popular, but he just never is because everybody just loves the perfume. I'll definitely be all over Jared Goff. We all love the Lions after a loss. I don't give a damn about that narrative, even though I do talk about narrative a lot. It's the Giants. That's enough narrative as it is. So it's Detroit at home that just boosted, and now they're after a loss. So because the narrative was they were angry and then have to play Washington. They did that to Washington on the road. Washington defense is horrible. Giants is worse. So definitely going to have some Jared Goff. As we continue, Caleb is always an option against a suspect Pittsburgh secondary. But I think Pittsburgh might be. I'll have Caleb. I'll be light on him. Like I said, that Chicago offense is, it's fine. It can be destroyed by TJ Watt and company, that front seven. If they can make Caleb, a little uneasy in the pocket, make him move around, scramble, hold the ball. He does hold the ball, get some sacks. I mean, there's an upside. There's also a downside rostering Caleb, but it is an option. It is a good matchup at home. You heard me talk about that Pittsburgh defense is not that great, so it is an option to look at. Flacco, always an option. It's a tougher matchup against New England. New England's one of the defenses that I do respect. Since he's at home, he gets a minor downgrade because of no Chase. So now it's Higgins. I'm going to mention it now before I go. I'm going to be at the field or under the field on Higgins. Here's why. People just see one side. Oh, Higgins this, Higgins that. He's not Jamar Chase. Understandable. But his volume is going to go up. But his volume has to go up against Christian Gonzalez, who's one of the best young shadowing shutdown QBs in the league. He's going to be all over Higgins. It's going to be the other wide receivers that I get to, and no offense to tight end. Is Higgins rosterable? Yes, because the volume is just going to go up. Because Christian Gonzalez is supposed to be guarding Jamar Chase. Now that he's not there, I guarantee that now that it's a big hit to the wide receiver group, there is no reason for Christian Gonzalez to travel anywhere else. Wherever Higgins is, he should be there. So, Flacco's still playable, but be careful. Remember, Christian Gonzalez is there. This is not, Jamar Chase is not there, and this is when Christian Gonzalez was still hurt at the beginning of the season, because I think he missed the first 4, maybe 5 games of the season. He's healed up, the body's fresh, he doesn't have to wear and tear like everybody else. And shadowing Higgins, as much as I like Higgins, is a whole lot easier task than shadowing Jamar Chase all day. As we continue, against a weaker squad, they're definitely looking to bounce back. If there's anybody that's looking to bounce back after a loss, I like Seattle at Tennessee. Sam Darnold, just the concentrated volume there with him at JSN, I would definitely be having shares of that as well. Jacoby Brissett, that's gonna be one of those games that you might want to stack. There's multiple pieces here. Jacoby Brissett, he's right just about around him, next to him or whatever. If we go down, Trevor Lawrence at 7,000. Both have wide receivers. Both of these like I said, I already proved and said from the beginning, the Jaguars don't have a great defense. They don't even have a good defense. They're below average. Lately, Arizona has been hard. When it comes to statistics and what they've been giving up, Arizona's defense has probably been the worst defense in the past 3 to 4 weeks, because Brissett because instantly they've been behind. Now, yes, the Seattle game, it was sack fumbles and they got up right away, but circumstance, the Arizona defense has probably been the worst defense maybe in the last 2 to 3, probably the last month just in general. They've given up a lot, and then they forced Brissett to pass, which is great for fantasy. So both Brissett at 7,300 with Trevor Lawrence at an even 7. Yes, I will get to him, but let's be real. You're going to want to get to Brissett. Ownership-wise, this could be one of the games where you can get a solid option on Trevor Lawrence with the ownership. Tyrod Taylor is starting for the Jets this week, so 6,900. Kirk Cousins is starting for Atlanta for the rest of the year. He's at 6,800, but I'm not going to have much of him because all year I stuck with my guns. New Orleans is a solid defense, and they play solid fantasy defense at home. For what their price is all the time, I think the most I've ever seen the Saints is 3,600 all year. They're better at home than they are on the road. On the road, they have played well. The only thing that sucks about them, they only get sacks, and they're not great at pressuring the quarterback. They have some pass rushers on that line. but they don't create turnovers, so you're not going to get the boom 12. I think the high they have all year, I think they have a 12. But typically, you're going to get a 9, 6, 5, whatever. They only got one negative all year. You're going to get the 2s and the 3s. New Orleans against somebody like Kirk Cousins. And hey, if Kirk Cousins looks like crap, there's some upside to New Orleans defense. But Kirk Cousins, no Drake London, probably has to keep it simple. They're probably just going to give it to Bijan a lot from the backfield. Kirk Cousins doesn't have his favorite target, so I guess it boosts Mooney. But I'm going to have very few shares of that. He's somebody that I'm still going to get to. They're not a fade, but he's still worth a cheap option or whatever. I mean, the stack is really cheap. I mean, it is amazingly cheap. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Darnell Mooney's still in the low 60s, 62, 63, no lower than 61. Then you have Kirk Cousins, 68. When I was previewing the slate, because I was nowhere near that, there's a possible good spot for Kyle Pitts. Hell no, I wasn't with that. I threw him in 2 lineups and he was absolute garbage. They actually dropped him $100. He's $4,900. So there is options there for that stack to go off. Like I said, it's still New Orleans. I just get the better. I just got to give you the benefit of the doubt and give you the guys the information that hey, there's cheap stacks out there that can help you open up and possibly do things like maybe get to a Jonathan Taylor who's 5 figures this week. As we go up to a couple quarterbacks that we passed by, is there anything else that I really like? Oh, I will mention this. So, obviously, it doesn't look like possibly Rodgers plays this week with that wrist injury. So, once again, I would like to talk about Mason Rudolph. If Mason Rudolph is the quarterback, the wide receivers become a complete fade to me, even though, yes, he can get it to Metcalf and company and Calvin Austin, but he is the dump-off king. I have one, but you don't really need him if you don't want to. But a cheap, weird stack is Mason Rudolph, whoever the starting running back is, if Warren comes back, whatever, because he will dump it off. He is the ultimate check down. And when it comes to check downs, he's a check down to the running back primarily, then the tight end. Okay, so Mason Rudolph, his check down rate is way above normal, just way above normal. That this is just something that I remember from previous years when he had to step in. Like I said, there was weeks where it was him, and when Najee Harris was injured, him and I think the guy's name was Benny Snell or Bucky Snell, Benny Snell, and I know he was a great player on DK because with the rushing that he had, he'll still have, and even if they don't have a touchdown, running backs will have anywhere from 5 to 8 receptions for anywhere from something like 48 to 68 something yards. If they get the touchdown, great. But Mason Rudolph is going to check it down to that running back. If Mason Rudolph gets cleared, boost whoever the running back is because the usage goes way up. If they're a running back like Jalen Warren, he does catch passes, but he has a 3-4. If he's lucky, he has a ceiling of getting 5 receptions. And I'm telling you right now, Mason Rudolph is that QB. Gainwell and Warren see a dramatic ceiling of reception, and then also definitely upgrade the tight ends. It's one of those that a couple of weeks ago when Tyler Huntley was in there, and I told you, hey, when Huntley is in there, he's a running / Lamar type. Upgrade the tight ends, downgrade the wide receivers. This is this situation right here. This is definitely the situation right here. So when it comes to, let's do a rewind. Pay-ups. I will say I will have to go with, it's probably 4. Jalen Hurts, Drake May, Patrick Mahomes, and Jared Goff. 8,000 and up. The of course I have to mention it. I mean, Philly's defense has been playing well, but it's a high-powered, big play offense, so you have to mention Dak, and Dak is at home. It'll be nice to see if you can get a decent owned Dak Prescott, not too high owned, a low owned Dak Prescott. Most likely that's the last game that's going to be on air. That's the 425 game. But when it comes to pay-ups, yes, Jared Goff, Mahomes, May, and Jalen Hurts. Normally I put 3, but I put all these guys ahead of Lamar because I think they all have a bigger ceiling than Lamar since he's not running like that. When it comes to the mid-level options, regular price I would probably consider it. Caleb against Pittsburgh, but you know, I'm not a big fan of that. Joe Flacco, New England, 7,500. Darnold and Brissett are definitely my favorites at 74, 73. And then when it comes to the paydowns, it's only Trevor Lawrence at 7,000. Yes, I told you why and how cheap those receivers and tight ends are in Atlanta. But like I said, you ask me what my top plays are, then without a doubt, it's the only person I'm paying down for that cheap. Like I said, I'm gonna get to Kurt. You have to. It's just amazing what a Kirk Cousins skinny and a Kirk Cousins double stack will do. But when it comes to, I'll sprinkle him a couple of entries here and there. But when it comes to, you know how I say, I stick with my guns, and what I tell you is what I tell you. Oh, I won't go this low in defense because I'm not picking these other defenses. So my low is 3,400. Well, when it comes to quarterback, my low is 7,000. But I will sprinkle 6,800 Cousins here and there. Last week I played about like 40 entries or whatever. So if I play 40 entries again, Cousins will probably, what's a sprinkle of out of 40 entries? He'll probably get 2 or 3. Lawrence is definitely on. That's just a great game in general. Trevor Lawrence is definitely going to get some ownership or whatever from me. But that is the end of this QB preview. Thank you for tuning in once again. This is your boy Grade A Fantasy. Good luck this week with your research. Running back video coming out tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. This is your boy Grade A Fantasy, and I'm signing off.